The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leaders who sell.
Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. I hope all is well with y'all. I hope y'all are doing great and living your best lives despite all the confusion they're casting on us about this COVID. Now they're saying that you can be vaccinated, but you can still spread or get the Delta variant. They're saying all types of new stuff about it. So, again, these times were predicted by many of the sages. These times of confusion, these times of uncertainty were always predicted by many of the great sages. May God have mercy on them. And so now we're here. But I want to talk about something else actually though, in the political spectrum. So an article was brought to my attention and it's really sad. It exposes the double standards of the West. First, the thing is the West, what they do is they try to usher in regime change into these lesser well-off countries, and then when the people want to establish or get asylum in the West, they turn them away. And it's like, okay, well, you destabilize their country, so what the heck is up with you not taking them? That's the least you can do for them. And so I read an article, and unfortunately, that's what's happening to Haitian migrants. Okay, that's what we see going on with migrants from Haiti. So what's happening is that migrants from Haiti are trying to escape. They're trying to get to the mainland of the United States of America, but they're actually being turned away. What's happening now is that they're being turned away, and if they're not turned away, they're being sent to Guantanamo Bay. That's what this administration is doing. Believe it or not, Guantanamo Bay wasn't just for terrorists, it was also for migrants as well from different countries. And I think they're revisiting using Guantanamo Bay for that purpose. Now, the sad thing about this is that we all know the situation going on in Haiti. We all kind of understand the case that there may be some fishy business going on in Haiti due to the simple fact that, many people say that the assassination of the president of Haiti was orchestrated by the United States and Canada, right? Now, the reasons for orchestrating the assassination, we don't know. However, the thing is what they'll do. This is one thing that these countries will do, is that they'll be like, well, this dictator isn't strict enough, so we got to get him out of here and even add a more stricter guy, or add a guy who's going to do things in our favor even more. So I think because I don't know that much about the recent president of Haiti, but what I do know from my own personal research of Haiti, I know that Haiti is majority black. And I mean, and when I say majority black, I mean majority dark skinned black, jet black, dark brown black, bronze black, and that kind of thing. That kind of color complexion. However, the thing is about Haiti is that a small minority controls the wealth. And they happen to be non-black. They happen to be like Arab. They happen to be Italian. I think even some of them happen to be Jewish as well. So I think what the next logical step is and what they're trying to usher in, since we already know Israel, we already know Jews to be where their allegiance lies, besides Israel, it lies with the United States as well. What they may be trying to usher in is a president who comes from that wealthy class. And I think maybe the big wigs of Haiti who control the wealth and control the, how things run in the country, probably just green-lighted that assassination. And I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, down the line, what we're going to see is we're going to see a president from that class, who's bankrolled and financed by those people, right? So, with this being said, it still goes back to the fact that they're turning away migrants. It's like, okay, you destabilize the country, right? You destabilize the country, and now you're turning the migrants away? That's not cool, bro. And they've been doing that. That's the thing. That's the whole situation, is that they've been actually doing this. When the military invasion of Haiti happened with the United States, they turned them away, and they pretty much exploited, sabotaged, and ridiculed their country. The thing is this is what it boils down to. This is one of the main things it boils down to when it comes down to this whole situation. The bottom line is that what the United States wants to do is one or two things. The first thing is that either they would want to do what they did to Haiti. They would want to do to Haiti what they did to Puerto Rico and make it a colony. They would want to do the same in Cuba, make it a colony, right? Or they would want to turn Cuba and Haiti into banana republics, like they did with, for example, Guatemala, like they did with Honduras, and like what they did with El Salvador. They all turned those countries into banana republics. Now, I don't know if you guys recall, but Kamala Harris even said to Guatemalans who were seeking asylum, don't think about it, don't come. She even said that. So the bottom line is that I know you guys, some of you guys, you Democrats and you liberals, act like that the blow with them, the blow is softer than Trump, but the blow is actually harder than it was with Trump, believe it or not. Now, me, I don't agree with any of them. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, I'm a radical, okay? I've always labeled myself as a radical. I've always labeled myself as someone who doesn't subscribe to any of these ideologies that Democrats, that liberals, that Republicans and conservatives could subscribe to. I'm out of that spectrum. You know what I mean? But it just goes to show you what Malcolm X was saying at the beginning of this video is so relevant, you know, that no matter what, a liberal, a conservative, a Democrat, and a Republican will all do the same things. They just have different ways of going about doing them. Sometimes it's in front of your face. Sometimes it's behind your back while putting the wool over your face to do it. Like, for example, and I'm going to end this video on this note. You know, they're talking about giving out new stimulus checks. They're talking about giving out new stimulus checks per week, right? But what they're not talking about is how they're bombing all types of places and how they're even bombing Somalia, for example, using drones. And they're not also talking about what they're doing with the Haitian situation, with the Cuban situation, putting more sanctions on and what have you. So they're not talking about these things, but they will put the wool over your face by saying, oh, here you go. Here's another stimulus check. You know, because at the end of the day, people will be happy about, like, receiving a stimulus check, right? But because of the society we live in, you know what I mean? But you're receiving the stimulus check at the expense of other people who basically didn't ask to be sabotaged, but were sabotaged. And probably, if they could have it their way, they would stay in their home countries. But situations were so drastic that they had no choice but to go to their to different countries. You know what I mean? To look for better ways to sustain themselves. But I mean, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. You know, this is a sad situation. Shout out to my Zoes. You know, I really do love y'all from the bottom of my heart. I'm very sincere when I say that. If it wasn't for, and I'm just going to throw this out there again, if it wasn't for two Muslims, two radical black African Muslims being knocked down in duty movement, Rahmatullah lay on both of them, then the idea of insurrection probably wouldn't have even existed. And we may not even have had a Haiti. But we also must say that when the Haitians were busting the French upside the head, that, you know, some of the slain fallen soldiers, you know, they found amulets, gris, and what we call them, with Arabic writing on them, right? So yeah, but I just wanted to add that little tidbit, talk about something political, since I haven't really made a political video in a minute, and I just want to show y'all that I'm still in the mix in terms of that, in terms of the international affairs and what have you. And I just think it's like really backwards that you take people, you take them out of your country, or you make their country basically so hard to be lived in, but then when they want to come somewhere as an asylum seeker, you know, push them away. I think that's shady. But, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful, but the United States will get what is coming to it. Sooner or later, it will get what is coming to it. Karma is as they say, karma is a bitch, and this country will experience karma. But anyhow, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Foolish signing out. Enjoy.